Another wonderful day in the Lord. Amen. Reverend Mike was able to get a little rest last night. First Lady and I are still recovering, amen, from our trip last weekend. And beautiful day today. A little cooler than yesterday, but beautiful and sunny. I can see more flowers coming up. And Reverend Mike got him some two baby turkeys and four more baby chickens. And they're doing well. They're about 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old, and it won't be long for them turkeys be bigger than a big boss man in the backyard. But the big boss man, they call him Big Male. Amen. My rooster, he's running the yard now. But when these turkeys get some size on them, it's going to be a new king in the yard, probably. Amen. Just trying to have a little fun. Been trying to get quite a bit of commentary in this week. There's so much going on, and we have gotten past the primaries. Now it's time to focus on the general. I really feel it's important that as we campaign, we do more than that. We speak to our constituents, we share information, we give perspective, and that's what I'm trying to do. I don't expect everyone to watch the whole video at one time. I mean, we're doing this for educational purposes for our people and for a record that, amen, Reverend Mike tried to share in as a spiritual way, in a powerful way, in a way of activism, and in a way of politics, amen, to share with our people to bring us together. And whatever happened, I want the record to reflect that I've tried to be a messenger. Our subject today will be, our commentary will be the Democratic stance on Turning Point USA and the impact, the negative impact it's having on working in rural communities. Mike Middlebrook will again share his vision for District 34. I must say I was very disheartened when I saw the commercial over the news of the day of Governor Huckabee endorsing Turning Point USA and highly recommending that every college institution and high school institution have a curriculum or form of that organization in the public school system. It's amazing how they have fought so hard not to teach history, real history. Now they're trying to indoctrinate our children with a type of theology that's creating division and separation and creating big I's and little U's. It really hits home for me. Turning Point USA has become a prominent conservative youth organization, a conservative nonprofit that seeks to transform college campuses. It faces allegations of racial bias and illegal campaign activity. Known for its strong presence on college campuses and influential institutions in shaping political conservatism and conversation. However, the Democratic Party raised some concerns about the organization's impact on practicality, on unity, on working class communities, and on urban communities. The question should be, what is your current Republican state representative's position on Turning Point USA? And will it be coming to the Blytheville and Mississippi County school system anytime soon? Does he support this? Let's explore the Democratic position on Turning Point America, the negative effects perceived in underserved areas, and how Mike Middlebrook envisions a better future for Mississippi County in District 34. The Democratic view on Turning Point USA's influences. Democrats argue that Turning Point USA promotes policies and rhetoric that often overlooks or harms the interests of poor and marginalized communities. The organization focuses on free market principles, limited government intervention, and individual responsibility can clash with the needs of the communities that rely heavily on social programs and public schools. Again, limited government intervention. Think about that. That's not protection. That's scattering the flock. When individual responsibilities and insights can conflict with the needs of the most needed communities. Concerns about messaging and outreach. Turning Point USA's messaging frequently emphasizes personal responsibility, critique welfare programs, great critique and pushback on welfare programs. Democrats believe that framing and working together those who depend on government assistance are being ignored, systematically barred from such unique educations, healthcare access, and economic opportunity. The isolation looking more as a theology of nationalism than as a government here for all people. Undermining social safety nets. Democrats put out the Turning Point pushes to reduce government spending on social programs, could lead to cuts in essential services like Medicaid, food assistance, and housing. Remember, the same thing is nearly in the LEARNS Act, the same thing coming in the SAFE Act. All of these things about making it more difficult for working communities and marginalized communities. Polarizing youth in poor and rural communities. It presents an outreach effort that sometimes target young people in economic disenfranchised areas, promoting narratives that blames poverty on individuals' failures rather than structure and issues. See, sometimes poverty can lead to poor people being polarized and offset as troublemakers, not understanding that coming from a poor background brings many challenges. And without investment, without resources, without the same essentials that we're providing to the more wealthier communities, yes, our young kids struggle with challenges. More of the reason why we shouldn't be bringing in organizations that more deeply pour into hurting their spirit. Even at universities, Drake University denied Turning Point USA's and denied recognition as an official student organization on their campus. Based on the Student Senate concerns that the organization has hateful record, aggressive marketing, unethical private concerns. All of these things they're trying to indoctrinate into our children, while not even wanting to speak of the truth of history in this country. There's so much we all can be proud of. There's so much we all wish had not happened, or understand that in that time, bad deeds were going on, that we're not responsible for the past, but we don't want to return there either. And only if we share the pains and struggles of all people will we ever truly understand that. The impact on education and economic opportunity. Democrats often again criticize Turning Point's stance on education, particularly its opposition to public school funding and support for charter schools without accurate oversight. Yes, Turning Point USA supports decreasing funding to public schools and increasing funding for private and charter schools. How how is that going to help unify this community? Again, we're creating separate and unequal access to education, health resources, information, jobs, and opportunities. And if we don't stop falling for these tricky words of safe and learn and turning point, well, the turning point is really to turn us back to a Jim Crow type society, where one class thinks it's better than the other class. We shouldn't be having, as my pastor would say, big I's and little U's. All of us are equal under the eyes of God. It also, as we said, reduces funding to public schools, limit access to quality education. And I want you to know that Mike Middlebrook, as a proud Democrat, stand totally against Turn Point USA for District 34 or any part of the United States of America. My prayer is I'm elected to represent this community. And even when they're passed and pushed and rammed on us, that we always push back. We always speak truth to power, to what is unfair, unequal, and polarization for 75% of this country. People of color and people who are marginalized, with handicaps, with mental issues, health issues. It's not just about race. It's about one class trying to take over on the other. And they've confused a lot of people in the middle. They're part of that 1%. It's amazing to me. Those that need service as much as our elders and our poor, we're talking about the middle working class. The first class that are doing a little better, somehow they forget how things used to be for them, maybe one generation back or two generations back, and tend to think that it's that way for everybody easy. Just pull yourself up by your bootstrap. But how can a bootless man or a bootless woman that's being stripped of every right and privilege in this country, pushing us back 40 years to something most have never seen and witnessed, pull themselves up without a bootstrap, without boots? If the farmer receives help to plant a crop, should the other end, the poor, the hungry that receive his crop also receive help? Farm aid is a social program just like welfare or any other program, social. If we're going to help the farmer, why can't we help the hungry? The hungry needs the farmer needs the hungry. When will we come to that understanding? The reason Arkansas farmers are hurting is because your supply was cut off to the users of your product by hurting SNAP programs, hurting social programs, community programs that were feeding the hungry all across this country and across the world. If there's no need for your crop, you can't sell it, you can't make a profit, not to mention the tariffs. When will you understand that when you receive help, you're helping others, but they're helping you by buying your product? I know I'm getting sidetracked, but I just need people to understand how serious this is. Social programs, ministries, nonprofit, community groups, just a place to gather and talk. All of these things are being taken away. Yes, we have other nonprofits picking up, just like what you see. Turning Point is a nonprofit. You're going to have them popping up all across this country and this county. But all of them are not in your benefit. Just because it says nonprofit, even now, just because it says ministry. We need to pay close attention. And many of them are propping up just to replace the ones who've been on the front line, feeding out the back pocket, like my pastor used to do, and starting a ministry from scratch with nothing but faith and hope. We got ministries popping up, just coming on the scene, man, getting 10, 20, 30, 40,000, some a couple hundred. And you think you all right. None of us gets a pass on this if we don't push back on this Trumpism train that's totally trying to create no middle class, rich or poor. Send us back to a hierarchy of class, the haves and the haves not. And then indoctrinate our children in the public school system with a whitewash nationalism theology. It's important that we understand what this election is at stake, the soul of this nation. And as we come to a close, I'm running long. Mississippi County matters. Mississippi County matters. And yes, I saw what was going on in the state of Mississippi. So many stepping up to the plate, so many stepping past fear, so many running for positions and strategizing and coming together as a community because they said Mississippi voters matter. And my prayer is you understand in Mississippi County, Arkansas, that Mississippi County should matter. And it should be of when you hurt one, you hurt all of us. Not let's separate and do our own thing and then force a theology to say that's okay. That feeding the hungry means feeding the people only in your house. Maybe throw a few crumbs to some that live on your street, but not feed our children, feed our elders, feed our sick. Love thy neighbor means love those in your house and in your neighborhood and that go to your school. Not love our neighbors around the world. This is a serious time. It's difficult for me as a pastor, as an activist, stepping into this role of politician. I have so much going through me, so many ways, but at the root of it is the heart and the love for Mississippi County. Mississippi County matters to Mike Middlebrook. Do it matter to you? Are you going to organize? Are you going to speak to your friends? Are you going to speak to your family? Are you going to push back in your own way? Everybody's not public, but you should be able to speak to every member of your family, every friend you have, those that are eligible to vote and those that are not eligible to vote. If you're not eligible to vote, help others to get to the polls to vote. We may never have another opportunity to bring dignity, unity, love, pride, togetherness back to this country, Arkansas and Mississippi County. And if we continue to keep accepting the separation of people and isolation of projects, some communities thriving and some communities suffering, thinking it just happens by mistake, not knowing that deals are being made, plans are being made each and every day. We as a people, we want to get political at election time, not understanding that they're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. It never stops. And we want to jump in right at election time, and then most of us don't even jump in then figuring out what happened. But we have an opportunity now as a collective to change that. I will be informative. We're going to have town hall meetings during this campaign. We're going to have town hall meetings after I win. And if for what reason the Lord say we don't win, we're going to still have town halls. Because those that know me know when I step into something, it's not about recognition. God has already given me victory. He's given me strength and passion that in this moment we must stand for our people. This country. It's time for men to be men. The women are watching us. Children are watching us. The ancestors are watching us. More than that, what are your children under you going to have to say about what you did in this moment? Have a blessed day. Thanks for listening. Please investigate and learn more about Turning Point USA. Our governor of Arkansas has made it known publicly that she wants to see this taught and installed on every campus in Arkansas. I would ask my representation on the state level, local level, school board, federal level, what is your position on that? Thank you for listening.